Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us right here on Amka Kenya. You are watching Amka Vibe Check, and of course, our conversation today is about quote-unquote gender roles, and I say that term very loosely.
Your all Kikuyus are low.
Listen, these guys don't know how to act. They can't even support a girl. Like, they're out here just trying to make me look bad.
We've never let that go with the teachers in school.
Yeah, the things rolling off the tongue, but ignore them. You know, they just don't know how to act. But they're the people, yes. Right, and on that regard, we have a question of the day, and we were asking you what your thoughts are on traditional gender roles and if they still have a place in today's relationships. Do traditional gender roles have a place in today's relationships? Would love to know your thoughts on the same. And of course, we had put our WhatsApp line and our handles on Facebook and X, which is at K24TV. Now, K. Ray says it's a traditional role for a man to pay bills and a woman to submit. If traditional roles go away, it means both the above go down together and men are happy if they stay and when they go as well. Okay. Hey, no seems face to K. Ray. Where? We'll come back with your perspectives. Dolly Koigi says, yeah, a wife will remain a wife no matter her status in the society. Okay, Dolly. Maya from Nairobi says, not really. Relationships today are built on partnership and mutual respect, not outdated scripts from decades ago. All right, Maya, thank you so much. Trev from Kisumu says, perhaps to some extent, if both partners, I beg your pardon, are comfortable with it, but it should never be forced on anyone. Okay, Trevor. Right, we also do have Zara from Thika says, some traditional gestures are still sweet, like cooking for your partner or fixing things at home, but they should be adapted to fit modern life. All right, very profound. Zara, thank you so much for that. We also have here Kevin from Eldoret who says, as long as there's mutual respect and love, the roles can be whatever two people agree on. There's no one size fits all anymore. Okay, Kevin. Kev from Eldoret. No sim sura yako ilikuwa.
Mimi nadai hata Kevin pigie 07. Yeah, but I think some of them are pissing me off because I don't think you can tell that a wife will be a wife in the society.
Regardless
what
of
does that mean?
Status.
What do you mean? Sasa mimi kazi yangu ni kuzaa na kuosha vyombo na kuosha nyumba na nimesoma nimepata masters PhD.
Okay, so let me put it this way. We're all in Nairobi right now. We are very exposed to different factors and how life is. You've read different articles. You have different friends from different walks of life. So your mind is really awake to different facets. But at the same time, this is where there's a way you were brought up. There's a way you grew up, yeah, from your parents' house. And then now you're in a relationship. And then now there's that other character, ya mzazi wako, kenye mlikuwa mnafanya, and maybe you really hated it. Just starts popping up from left, right, and center. And so does your partner, because you guys don't know yourselves until you're in this thing. That's when you're meeting yourself. So what happens in that moment when those, traits, things that you didn't know were there, start popping up? And then now we have what we say, jielewe before mwingie kwa hizi vitu. Na hata kama zina happen while you're in it, you're still supposed to find a way of dealing with it. There's a level of maturity. I want to get your perspectives on that.
Well, if something happens that triggers both or one of you, you guys should talk about it like adults. But if you guys can't get past it, unajua uzuri, hey, nakwambia right to divorce vile ilikuja wanawake wengi tulisaidika. If you guys can't get past it, sumuachane tu, because then again, ikitu si must. Especially if you're young, you're not even supposed to be focused on relationship. You're supposed to be focused on building yourself as an individual before you get ready to partner with someone for the rest of your life. Oh my God, rest of your life sounds like...
And okay, I think to be very, very, very honest, right? We find ourselves in a very, very weird space because genuinely there are so many people who have no idea what a marriage is. They have this idea, this concept, forgetting it's just two people, So somebody will present with these very traditional scripts like, you're a wife, submit, yet he's not King Solomon in terms of resources. You get
Literally.
that imbalance causes tension. You get
Yeah.
not like there's an amount of money worth giving your autonomy for, because that is still not an argument. But at the end of the day, what do we say about the people who have chosen that? You know, the women who say, you know what, I find comfort in this. You know, because we cannot shame people for their choice. That's their preference.
I
You know,
mean,
what
if
are
it
the
works
bounds of
for you-
healthy in terms of that? You know, because those are the people who often get neglected by society in terms of we don't talk about them enough. You know, because they'll go into these relationships with this outdated mindsets of, and I say they're outdated because the data shows us that's not how these things work. You get they go, it's like a partner, I'll submit to this man, and
Yeah.
the elephant in the room is that's a majority of Kenyan women. You get, and they're there like, I'll submit, and this man will take care of me, and he will do. Njoroge was not taught these things. You get, Njoroge thinks of that as a concept as well. You get,
Yeah.
you get, then you realize I'm taking care of him, I'm taking care of all this. I hate marriage, and then these women come out of marriage. And by then in Kenya, you have to prove to the state why you want to leave.
Really?
Yes.
Hey guys, please don't get married.
You get. So
Right.
it's what wamechoka. And when I say what wamechoka, the women are tired because they're carrying the burden, because society does not hold men accountable enough
Yeah.
in these marriages. You get? So that's the bubble that we want to burst. Like, it's not what you think. It's
And
just
I'm
two
glad
people.
that statement is
Yeah.
coming from a man, because when we say it, they say, "Oh, angry feminist." I'm like, girl,
And
we're
for
just
some
stating
reason,
facts.
our
And-
words are lighter. Just because we're women, our words are lighter, much lighter than men. And I'll also talk about the outdated responsibilities and gender roles. If you put, it's in the concept itself. If you put new wine in old wineskin, it bursts. So there's no way you're going to teach this new generation the exact thing you taught the old generation. First of all, those people, women then, were not in school. They didn't earn money. They didn't have bank accounts. They were told
They were not allowed to have.
the only thing that made them feel important was giving birth and taking care of the household. But now we have things that make us important. And then you making a woman small enough to just fit into the wife status is insane, because women are smart. Women are people who are leading countries now. Let's talk about it, you know. So for you to just say, oh, our wife will remain, talker.
And it was coming from a woman. It had broke me. I expected a man to say that, but a
Also,
woman
yeah.
who has studied.
Yeah, also there are women. Another thing that vexes me so much is because see these men who are saying women should do this, women should. There are women who like doing that, you know, genuinely.
I wish they
there are
could go
women
for
who
that,
love
though.
but the problem is they are following the women who don't want to do that. Like you'll find men in my DMs telling me, oh my God, I love you. Ukienda kwa page yake anaongelelea venye women are supposed to
Ama kwa
be
comment
giving
section
back.
yako.
They are talking
Akijam.
about women who are supposed to, they are supposed to
So
just
so
cook and
they
clean.
openly they privately tell you they like you.
No. They're doing it to it's
Conquer.
like conquer. Like they know they can put you in that position.
Got you. I see.
Vile ulikuwa unasema they like to chase, so they will go for like, oh, udem anajijua, let me try and see if I can make her like
Not jijua
dama.
some.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know.
Punguze akili kiasi ya kuwe easily manipulatable, like agreeable.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Kwanza mimi haita work, utashinda hapo.
And also we have proof of people trying to humble. It's called humbling.
Yeah. They even say mpe ball atulie. Imagine.
There's this trend on TikTok. You've seen it, whereby they're dating the guy and the lady, and then the next shot is her pregnant, looking out of character.
Yeah.
know.
Also,
It's
there's
a-
this
it's
Wizard
a
Liz.
very-
There's a woman called Wizard Liz who was telling women how to, you know, upgrade, put yourself in a position where a man would
Yeah.
never put you in that. You know, usiwahi kubali mwanaume akushushe from where you are. And then guess what? A man masqueraded as such a good person, dated her for months, and then made her pregnant after 4 months, where she cannot remove the child, is when he shows up. He's like, he's cheating. You know, I've been doing this. There's nothing you can do. You're pregnant and you cannot get rid of it. You know, I got you. I wanted you.
Good
That's
thing is she
insane.
left. Good thing is that she left.
There's a photo of them together, though.
But they have to co-parent at the end of the day.
Co-parenting looks more like.
But you know,
So-
like that's such. Okay, like, you know, I don't understand. Okay, of course, it's so dystopian we're having this conversation because, right? You know, in all this, when all this is happening, when men and women are relating, kids are being born. babies are being neglected. It's setting up such unhealthy precedents for the future. You know, and I mean that in this sense, right? We have to be honest. The conversation that we're having right now, it only exists because there's a small section of men, and I say small because they are the loudest, you get, that genuinely have such deep insecurity that genuinely I don't find a sense of meaning and belonging unless there's somebody under me, you know.
That's depressive, man.
For whatever reason, and I say that because
But
women
I
need
think
to understand.
your percentage is the small one.
No, do you know why I say
Yeah.
that? Do you know why I
I've
say that?
interacted with, okay, majority of the men I interact with, they are like the opposite of you. Kwanzaa, the other day I had a man throw a full tantrum. He was holding a bottle and all that, because I said I don't want to get married by 25. And then he got so angry. Mind you, we don't even know each other. So I'm telling you, like, we have just met. It's the first time, like, we have been introduced. Nona kama, like, you have a friend, and, like, we come here, and then I'm like, oh, hi, my name is Brandy, and then he's like, hi. And then now he asked, oh, are you single? And I'm in a relationship. And then that conversation started from there. He got so angry, and I'm like, these are the majority of men who we meet. Sasa how the majority, unless kuna mali mmejificha.
No, do you know I say that, right?
Jitoe.
Because
Hey man, 20 your bail. Tumeshoka na ingine.
there's a guy who once said, like, the issue is, in a group of 10, you'll have 4 vile people, right? You'll have another 4 people who, generally speaking, they have good moral standard, right? But then you'll have 6 out of all of them who are apathetic. They do nothing.
So how does a healthy version of what we're speaking about look like?
An honest conversation. You get an honest conversation. It's like,
And how do you get to those honest conversations?
the honest conversations, honestly
Vulnerability.
speaking, you're able to see it from the people who live their lives honestly and openly. But at the end of the day, it's understanding that, by the way, men, we're not cash machines, and women are not baby making machines. We are people who want each other. You know? So that means that it's a partnership.
But you know,
But at
the
the same-
problem is, I don't think men, hiyo ati ama cash machine ama ama provider eti inawa shikilia ko hivyo venye the roles given to women do that to
Men
do
are
to
killing
women.
themselves over that.
But that's just,
But to
you
be-
guys have one role. Women have the role of homemaking, taking care of
And
you as a
even
man,
then, there
because
are women who do all that and still
provide. And she's also expected to be the woman behind the successful man.
If women were supposed to be killing
Okay, let's
themselves,
give him a moment.
Tungejua wote kitambo,
it
man.
Give him a
doesn't.
moment.
No.
Let's give him a moment
Listen,
to
listen.
reply.
Imagine the sun and the moon can be in the same sky, in the sense of 2 things can be true at the same time. You get this. The self-perception of I am only what I provide in a struggling economy is leading men to think this is my sense of worth. That does not
Who
negate.
set that
doesn't
system
negate.
up?
Yeah, the
It's
men.
men.
It's a patriarchal
It's
nini.
true.
If you guys wanted
It's
to end,
true.
nyinyi
It's
mtaacha tu.
true.
Okay, there's a
But
perspective.
it's 2 things can be
There's
true
a
at the same time.
perspective also. In every society, there are things that are not healthy that some people prefer for them to be that way for things to work. Right? So we may not have the identity of women just being baby making machines or men being just the standard provider as is, but there are people and also women who would like it to be that way and men who'd like it to be that way.
and most of the
So
time,
how do we articulate that? How do we break that down?
first of all, I'd say the people who want it to be like that, most of the time, it's because they're gaining something from it. You know?
Exactly.
Yes. And if you're not, you're going to be fighting against it, yeah? Because at the end of the day, you see something better for yourself than that. If you, because I don't think honest conversation, yes, it should be honest, but you know, if I'm going to gain something out of this relationship, why will I be honest if I can lie to get the relationship? So I just think you need to sit down and observe the people you're going to end up with. The person you choose to date, sit and study them. Don't take whatever they say as truth, as, you know, don't do that. Just honor patterns zake, behaviors zake, and then you decide, is this what I want to settle for?
That's
If
why I
not,
think talking
leave.
stage should be long.
Talking stage.
Watu wana
Yeah.
date at 3 months
Because-
and then you
yeah.
get married. You haven't seen this man through different phases of life.
Yeah, and
and
3
you're
months
like,
is
oh, I
like-
know him better. Okay, girl,
Yeah.
you go.
Probation period inasemekana ni 3 months ya talking stage.
Yeah.
So for you, because nobody, okay, most people cannot lie enough like for 3 months, past
for
3
6.
months.
The
Eh,
3-month rule,
wanatokanga. Yeah,
There's
it's
a
also
3-month rule,
because,
yeah.
it exists because the most malicious of people are very impatient.
Yeah.
You know, when they
See?
don't get what they want,
Yeah.
they move
So
on.
hold on, like study them. Like usikwe na haraka. Unaenda wapi?
But you know, this is it's a
But
cyclical
hakuna
thing.
patient, watu wana patience. really.
Unataka tu haraka haraka. Inaitwanga nini? Instant gratification. Unapata instant
Pain.
instant
Instant
shege.
heartbreak.
Instant shege.
Back
Hapo
to
hapo.
back.
Hello, eh.
But it's like the snake that bites itself because it all comes back to the same thing, right? Yes, a lot of people are coming to awareness that this system is not working for us, you know. And I mean that in terms of men are going through their things, women are going through their things, and men are, they're all happening at the same time, you know. But the truth of the matter, it's not working, you know. And the problem is this, right? We find ourselves in a space where we have been raised by these same rogue elements, you know. So in terms of the things that we don't like are the things that we find familiar. We will say that, right? Lakini, if you look at your last 6, 7 talking stages, imekuwa as in.
Subconsciously.
That's why they remain talking stages. That way they proceed to dating if you have like some standard. You know you want a woman who's like going to submit like the traditional woman. That's what me unanga talking stage is so important. And even if atadanganya in the first 3 months, mtaanza kudate no msiende tu immediately muende kwa wazazi. You after date tena date for a long time uone after amekukonka how does he act.
But then again, that's a waste of time.
I know it is a waste of time, but if you really want
Hold
a
on to
relationship,
that. Let's take a look at more feedback so that we see kama watu wana kubaliana na nyinyi ama wako like hapana. Right, so we had asked you earlier about the traditional gender roles and what's your perspective on the same. The traditional gender roles still have a place in today's relationships. So this is what you have to say about this particular matter or conversation on the same. So let's see what we have. Layla from Mombasa saying, honestly, the old rules don't apply anymore. We create our own balance where both people contribute equally. All right, Layla. There you go. So tunakubaliana nyinyi. Lakini hiyo ni mmoja wa sahi. Brian Nakuru says, from Nakuru says, there's still room for tradition, but equally has to come first. But equality, I beg your pardon, has to come first. Gender roles shouldn't limit anyone's potential in a relationship. All right, Brian. Thank you for that. We have Mia from Machakos who says, we don't need to follow our parents' model of relationships. Times have changed, and so should the way we define our roles. All right. Most people, that's the third person agreeing. Okay. Jay Kiambu from Kiambu says, some traditional roles still work, but only if they're shared and agreed upon, rather than being one-sided expectations. Okay, another Sophie from Yeri says traditional gender roles can have a place if both partners genuinely value them, but they should never be used to limit or control someone. Nasikia? So our water.
Clocking.
yeah.
All right then. I think the most crucial thing that we need to look at here is the age at which people are getting into relationships right now, because we have very young people, even 17, 16, want to move in together and start a whole life. Yes, and they do it for their own safety and mental, health, for that matter, because of where they're coming from and their background. So they just feel relationships are the best way to hide, to be in someone else and the like. Why is it so important to date when you're ready? So that you can even have a concrete conversation when you're speaking about such matters.
Because there's active consequences to exposing yourself to the wrong people at the wrong time. You know, when you're just forming ideas of who you want to be, what the world is, you don't have the emotional bandwidth for some certain setbacks, because they change how you look at yourself. Not to say that you cannot heal from those spaces, but why give yourself that work to begin with when you can still have what you want? Why you to just wait a little longer, you know?
Yeah, and it's literally doing the same thing to your child, because like that was a toxic relationship I'm from. That's why I'm getting married at 16, and then you get another child who is going to be saying the same thing for generations to come, you see. So it's like repeating itself over and over, which is not what we are here for.
Yeah, and until you're old enough, you never truly know what you want. Because ukitoka kwa familia ya mzazi, unaweza kuwa na maybe some sort of anger from the marriage you've seen, ama some sort of joy to the marriage you've seen. You go with a certain attitude, and then you try, don't move in, and then like as you grow older, you start to realize, oh, this is not what I want in a relationship, or this is not to be feared. A relationship shouldn't be feared. And if you do that at 17, you barely know like what you want to be when you grow up. So how are you going to know what type of partner you want for the rest of your life? You haven't managed to even know yourself, leave alone know another person. Because for you to be a good partnership, you have to know each other well. So you should take time, know yourself first, be a competent human being as an individual. You don't see ukienda into a relationship and you're not old enough, you haven't known yourself well, utenda you act like the other person is a crutch, and dependency, that's where resentment starts growing from, and then boom, again. And
knowing yourself is very important, because to be very honest, if I ended up with someone who I found attractive at 16, boy, would I be going for it right now? No way. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's like you just had that instant flashback. You're like, my God.
And I'm looking at the same person now. I'm like, what was I blind? What was so attractive? Where?
Hey, it's the hormones, the 16-year-old.
And whatever you find attractive at 16 is what is cool, and what is cool at 16 is actually not so cool, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm thinking,
But it's as much as we have this conversation, right? Let's just center it to reality. People know these things, but the reasons why young people are being pushed to these spaces is very valid. People are very isolated, genuinely. Like, somebody is looking for a place to feel seen, because they have not felt seen their whole life.
Buy a mirror and then look at yourself every day.
But realistically, no.
But then again,
that's what I did.
As much
but
as
it's a trauma.
Like
we were doing.
I don't think trauma is valid enough for you to
when
be
you
doing.
get
but
to
when
a
you
certain
go
age,
into
you can
town halls and you're speaking to young people
trauma.
in different counties, one of the things, and I'm highlighting Mombasa for this factor, you have young people cohabiting as young as that age because of the issues and the lives that they are facing, right? So relationships have been pushed, and it's not beginning now, but for a long time, as crutches. So it's something that you can have common sense in, you can have knowledge in, but how you react to it is not in the same way as what we're very ideal, right now, but what is on the ground is different. You knowing and doing is.
Because what do we tell, right? The 19-year-old girl, the 19-year-old boy who, genuinely speaking,
they have a family, they have even a kid or two.
Nobody's talking to them about this. You see, we are having this conversation here. It's not reaching most. Yes, it is going to a lot of people, but the people you are talking about would probably never have such a conversation, never be talked to. Not in schools, not at home, nowhere. So at the end of the day, they are making decisions out of what they have experienced. And that is not... That is why we tell people, go outside, explore.
Exposure.
Be exposed to, things. Oh, by the way, this exists, so this is not the only thing I can go to.
Yeah.
Okay, then let me try this. So I feel like education and talking to people who are younger at that age would be
a lot of
efficient.
sensitization and counseling.
The Kenyan government.
Because they just need someone to hold their hand.
And their parents, please.
Yeah. Okay, then fair. So final comments very quickly.
Please love yourself. No matter what, don't let trauma be a decision maker in your life. Also follow me, Nosim Natasha, everywhere.
Hello.
Concerning gender roles, you are not who society tells you you are who you are, and that's something no one can tell you other than yourself.
Okay, then.
And mine is to say relationship is not a must. If you haven't figured out what you want in a relationship, stay single until you figure it out.
Period.
Go, yeah. All right. You need to sing.
Oh,
we have maybe a minute.
Oh, sasa hivyo tuna mdomo. Na instrumental.
Lakini kuna hii sijuta, lakini hakuna yani imba tu mama.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so shy, niko nervous. But anyway.
Yes.
Siwezi katuka kaniimbie kama backup.
Hapana, imba tu.
Okay.
Yeah, tunaamini
Unajua ina
sauti yako.
Jema amekuwekea pressure.
Lakini nilimwambia before tuanze show
Nitasema nikisema mnajua kujibu shash ndio nisikie kama niko okay. Kam nikupini na shash. Zangu zikishika twende bash. Hedi wa maina sini crash. Zangu zikishika twende church. Check it off, mina chase the sky. Wacha nikusho, mina feel so high. Akitoa do, mina feel so right. Junadai tuku dance flow ni mine. Juzangu zime nice moves za kuwine. Yeyuka kama ice can check the time. Juu hapa niko nice. Kam nikupini na shash. Zangu zikishika twende bash. Alo.
Alo. Right, with that, nilikuwa kuuliza kupini nini, lakini nawashukuru.